The videos you're about to see were recorded by multiple employees working at a hotel in California, particularly on the second floor, a level many staff members believe is haunted. Over time, employees have reported hearing unexplained noises, receiving strange phone calls, and witnessing things they can't logically explain. And some of the activity has managed to be captured during routine work shifts. The first clip was recorded by a hotel employee after receiving a phone call from one of the rooms on the second floor. A room that, according to staff, was completely empty at the time.
Alright, so we're getting crazy calls from this room that is unoccupied in the second floor. Okay, keys. I think it's 2. There's the phone. No one's calling, no one's here. Everything's chilling. No one here, no phone calls. I'm out. This is weird.
Employees claim this isn't unusual. Calls from vacant rooms on the second floor reportedly happen often. At first, they're dismissed as technical glitches, but it was about to get even worse. When the employee replayed the footage later and enhanced the audio, he noticed something he hadn't heard in the moment. A strange sound buried beneath the background noise.
Yeah, 226, that's right. Yeah, 226. Yeah, 226.
And that wasn't the only incident. Late one night, 2 female employees decided to film a challenge while working, trying to lighten the mood. They placed their phones inside the elevator on the 3rd floor and attempted to follow it down to the 2nd.
Go.
As the elevator reached the 2nd floor, it suddenly became stuck. The doors began opening and closing on their own, repeatedly, without anyone pressing a button. Even more unsettling, a voice could be heard coming from inside the elevator. It sounded like a woman calmly saying, "Hello." There was no one inside. On a different night, those same 2 employees were filming themselves while cleaning a room on the 2nd floor, laughing, talking, and completely unaware of what their camera was actually capturing.
How do you up the stairs?
I don't know, but I mean, I felt bad, but also
No, don't feel bad. It's just terrible.
didn't you want to clean it real quick?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways, so my sister, she graduates in 2 days, and I asked for the whole weekend off. Here
In this corner?
the right corner.
Okay. Or in that corner.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways, so my sister, she graduates.
When they later reviewed the footage, they noticed something chilling. In the mirror's reflection, a dark, completely black figure could be seen standing in the corner of the room, motionless. It resembled a person, yet lacked any detail or features. Just a solid shadow, silently watching. The realization left both women shaken. They hadn't noticed anything while filming, but the camera clearly had. So what do you think? Is the second floor of this hotel genuinely haunted, as staff members believe? Or is there another explanation behind the voices, figures, and unexplained activity caught on camera? One thing is for sure, as unsettling as that hotel footage was, it wasn't the only place where cameras captured something that shouldn't have been there. Quick interruption. If you're enjoying this video, why not hit that subscribe button? We're on a mission to hit 500,000 subscribers, and when we do, 3 lucky fans will win a limited edition CreepyVids hoodie or shirt. Right now, 61.4% of you watching haven't subscribed yet. It's completely free, and your support helps us make even more awesome videos. So, don't miss out. Subscribe now, and let's get back to the video. This next clip was recorded by a woman working alone late at night inside a retail store. Around 11:30 p.m., with no customers and no co-workers present, she began hearing strange noises coming from the back of the building. At first, she tried to ignore it, but then she checked the security cameras.
Guys, I'm working by my f***ing self, and I hear a noise in the back. What the f***, bro?
On the monitor, she saw something fall inside the storage area, seemingly on its own. Almost immediately after, a transparent black figure moved across the frame at incredible speed. The movement was so fast it barely registered at first glance. Alarmed, she went to investigate in person, but found nothing. No fallen objects, no intruders, no explanation. Hours later, long after the store had closed, the cameras captured something even more disturbing. A ladder fell over by itself. Moments later, a pillow slid down the stairs, with no one nearby. No air movement, no visible cause. Of course, the woman was terrified. Convinced the store was haunted, she quit her job and refused to return. Whatever had been moving through that building didn't feel random. It felt intentional. So what do you think? Was this a series of coincidences caught at the right angle, or something that was never meant to be seen? Either way, seeing something move in an empty store is terrifying. But seeing it near your baby child is something else entirely. This next video was shared by a concerned mother who says something strange had been happening inside her home for weeks. Late at night, she kept hearing noises coming from her baby's room. Every time she went to check, everything appeared normal, but small details never added up. Objects weren't where she'd left them. One night, the pacifier was inexplicably on the floor. Another night, toys had been moved into different positions. Subtle changes, but consistent enough to raise concern. When she brought it up to her partner, he dismissed it, suggesting she was simply exhausted. Sleep deprivation, stress, imagination. But the feeling that something was wrong wouldn't go away. Determined to find answers, she set up a baby monitor with motion detection and waited. Then one night, her phone sent an alert. The footage shows a figure entering the frame. It moves quietly and deliberately, bending down toward the crib. The figure appears to take something before vanishing just as quickly as it arrived. There's no sound, no visible struggle, just a presence reaching into the crib and disappearing without explanation. When the clip was shared online, reactions were immediate and divided. Some viewers suggested it could have been an intruder, though no one could explain how someone could enter and exit the room without leaving any trace. No forced entry, no disturbance. Others were convinced it was something far more unsettling, a presence tied to the home or the family itself. Whatever the explanation, one thing was universal. Watching a figure reach toward a sleeping baby taps into a deep, primal fear. And for many viewers, that image alone was enough to make the footage impossible to forget. And that takes us to this next clip, shared by Roden. Roden isn't someone who uploads frequently. When he does post, it's usually harmless clips, moments from daily life, nothing dramatic, nothing staged. But while his parents were out of town, that pattern changed. Over the course of several nights, he began experiencing things that left him visibly unsettled. Objects appeared to move on their own. Unexplained sounds echoed through empty rooms. And more than anything else, there was a growing sense that he wasn't alone in the house, no matter how quiet it seemed. One night, just after 1 a.m., that feeling became impossible to ignore. Strange noises coming from another room jolted him awake. Instead of brushing it off, he reached for his phone and began recording, hoping to capture whatever was causing the disturbance.
Estoy en mi pieza queriendo dormir, boludo, y me tocan la puerta toda la noche, amigo. Son como las 1 de la mañana. No hay nada. No, amigo, ¿qué mierda es eso, boludo? ¿Qué mierda sos, la concha de tu madre? Boludo, no. Amigo, no hay nadie, boludo. No. De hoy se está escuchando esa mierda. ¿Qué? No, boludo, no. No. Encima abro acá la ventana, boludo. No hay nadie, amigo. O sea, no hay chance que haya salido alguien por acá, boludo. No, amigo, no. No, amigo, de nuevo esto. Pero qué mierda, boludo.
As the camera records, something chilling happens in the background. A dark figure slowly peeks around a doorway, just enough to be seen, before retreating back out of sight. It's subtle, but unmistakable. Roden reacts immediately, rushing toward the room to see who or what was there. When he enters, the space is completely empty. No movement, no explanation. As he checks the window, trying to rationalize what he just saw, something even more disturbing appears. In the reflection behind him, another dark figure becomes visible, standing unnervingly close, watching him. It doesn't move. It doesn't react. It's simply there. When the video was posted online, viewers quickly noticed both apparitions. Many pointed out that whatever was present in the house wasn't just making noise. It was actively observing him. Some believe the isolation of being alone made Roden more vulnerable, heightening both his awareness and whatever was happening around him. Others argue the presence had always been there, simply choosing that moment to reveal itself. Either way, the footage left viewers with the same unsettling question. If no one else was in the house, who was watching? Now, the next video takes us somewhere completely different, deep into an abandoned structure with a long history. A man from the Netherlands named Robin runs a small YouTube channel where he typically uploads content focused on video games and online entertainment. His videos are usually lighthearted and unrelated to real-world exploration. But in August of 2020, one upload stood out from everything else on his channel. While traveling through France with a group of friends, Robin found himself in the Alps, an area known not only for its natural beauty, but also for its long and complex military history. During their trip, the group stumbled upon what appeared to be a concealed underground structure, later identified as a World War II era shelter. The entrance was partially hidden, weathered by time, and clearly not meant to be accessed by the public. Curiosity quickly took over. Instead of leaving it untouched, they made the decision to go inside and document what they found.
Going into the tunnel. Okay. Jezus. Zo'n sneeuw. Hoe dan?
As the camera adjusts to the darkness, the interior of the shelter comes into view. Narrow underground corridors stretch out ahead, long, straight tunnels carved into the earth, their walls damp and stained with age. There's no electricity, no signs of recent use, just silence and darkness. Encouraged by what they've already seen, the group continues deeper inside, their footsteps echoing through the tunnels as the light from their camera struggles to reach the far end.
Jezus.
Ja, we zijn doorgelopen.
Maat. Oh, dit voelt als een heel slecht... Ja, is goed. We gaan terug.
It isn't until later, long after they've left the bunker, that they discovered what they'd captured. While reviewing the footage, the group notices that at the far end of one tunnel, a dark, semi-transparent shape appears briefly, moving across the frame before vanishing into the darkness. The figure is difficult to define. It doesn't move like a person. It doesn't reflect light normally. And most disturbing of all, it was completely unnoticed while they were there. The realization only came afterward, when the footage was slowed down and examined frame by frame. Some viewers believe the structure may be haunted, and that what appeared in the tunnel could be something not entirely human. Others suggest optical illusions, shadows, or camera artifacts caused by low light and motion. No definitive explanation was ever provided. So what do you think? Was this simply a trick of the camera inside an abandoned war bunker? Or did they capture something that was never meant to be seen? With that question lingering, I'm going to show you footage that has been captured by a Toddler monitor again. A moment that still has no clear explanation. The camera is positioned directly towards the crib, offering a close, unobstructed view of a toddler sleeping peacefully. The room is dark and quiet, illuminated only by the soft infrared glow of the baby monitor. There's no movement, no background noise, nothing out of place. Everything looks exactly as it should, just a sleeping child in an otherwise empty room. But as the parents checked again, something deeply unsettling became visible. Right beside the sleeping toddler, another head can be seen resting inside the crib. It appears to be a second child, partially obscured, lying unnaturally close, and facing directly toward the camera. The positioning alone raises immediate questions. There's no indication of how anyone could have entered the crib unnoticed. No sound, no disturbance to the sleeping toddler.
What the f is it? That's so weird. Well. I'll you son of a bitch.
I don't know if you noticed, but the figure moves. Just slightly, but unmistakably. Something that looks like a small hand shifts, ruling out a shadow, reflection, or momentary camera glitch. The father watching the monitor reacts instantly. Panic sets in as he realizes what he's seeing doesn't make sense. He grabs his phone and runs toward the bedroom, continuing to film as he calls out. His breathing is rushed, His voice was tight with fear. But when he reaches the crib, the scene has changed completely. There is nothing there. The crib is empty, except for his sleeping child. The room is exactly as it was before. Dark, silent, undisturbed. After the recording ended, he stated that he checked the entire room and searched the rest of the house thoroughly. Closets, corners, hallways, every possible hiding place. There was no sign of another child. No explanation for how anyone could have entered or exited the room without being noticed. Since then, the footage has circulated widely online, sparking intense debate. Some believe it was a camera malfunction or a reflection caught at the worst possible angle. Others argue the movement is too clear, too intentional to dismiss so easily. And a more unsettling group believes the camera may have captured something that wasn't meant to be seen, something quietly watching over the child that night. Whatever the truth is, the footage leaves behind a chilling question. If there was nothing there, then what was the camera actually recording? Now, this next video was filmed on a quiet street in the United States late at night around 11 p.m. Nothing unusual, just casual footage. Until a passerby suddenly noticed something that stopped him cold.
And she just disappeared in the sidewalk. What the fuck? I know you guys didn't believe me, but somebody walking by. ¿Qué pasó, güey? ¡Oh, güey, mira! Ahí va saliendo. What the... Mira. What the hell? Salió de la... What the... What is that? ¿Qué es eso, güey? ¿Qué pasó, güey? ¡Oh, güey, mira! Ahí va saliendo. What the... Mira. What the hell? Salió de la... What the... What is that? ¿Qué es eso, güey?
Without warning, the man turned and ran, panic taking over instantly. What he saw was a black, semi-transparent figure moving unnaturally near the street. Watching the footage closely, it appears as though the figure didn't walk into view. It simply appeared, almost as if it emerged directly through a solid surface, like a wall.
¡Oh, güey, mira! Ahí va saliendo. What the... Mira. What is that? ¿Qué es eso, güey?
Both men were left in complete shock. No explanation, no understanding of what they had just witnessed. The footage ends with confusion and fear, the kind that lingers long after the camera stops recording. So what do you think they encountered that night? A visual illusion? A shadow distorted by lighting? Or something that shouldn't have been there at all? Let me know what you think in the comments. And while you're doing that, we head straight into this next video that comes from a home security camera in the United States. Late one night, a family was suddenly awakened by loud noises outside their front door, accompanied by intense, flashing lights that seemed to move erratically. Alarmed and confused, they checked their security footage to see what had triggered the disturbance. What they found was unsettling enough to share online. The footage shows bright lights darting across the camera's view, moving in unnatural patterns. They don't behave like passing vehicles or handheld lights. Instead, they hover, shift direction abruptly, and remain visible for an extended period of time. Adding to the confusion is a strange audio element, a repeated phrase or sound that seems almost musical, looping again and again without context. It doesn't align with any visible source, and its meaning is unclear. The combination of the lights, the movement, and the repeating audio creates a scene that feels disjointed and deeply unsettling. The video spread quickly online, but no clear explanation ever followed. No confirmation of technical malfunction, no environmental cause, no official response. So, what was happening outside that door that night? A camera glitch? An elaborate prank? Or something far harder to explain? As with many clips like this, the lack of answers may be the most disturbing part of all. And that takes us to this woman who was walking home alone late at night after finishing work. The streets around her were quiet, almost unnervingly so. There were no cars passing, no pedestrians nearby, and no obvious signs of activity. Just the sound of her footsteps and the empty road ahead. As she continued walking, something about the silence began to feel wrong, enough that she instinctively reached for her phone and started recording, unsure of what she was sensing, but feeling that she needed proof if something happened. What the camera captured next is what made this clip spread so quickly. At the start of the footage, the road ahead is completely empty. There's nothing in her path. No people, no movement, no shadows crossing the street. And then, without warning, a small figure suddenly appears in the middle of the road directly in front of her. A little girl, standing unnaturally still. Her face looks a little distorted, unsettling, and completely out of place in the empty street. There's no indication of where she came from, no footsteps approaching, no movement entering the frame. One moment the road is clear, and the next, the child is just there. The sudden appearance is what makes the moment so disturbing. It doesn't look like someone walking into view. It looks like something materializing. The woman hesitates only briefly before panic takes over. Her breathing quickens, and the camera shakes as fear sets in. Whatever she's seeing doesn't feel normal, especially given how deserted the area was seconds earlier. The woman turns and runs, desperate to put distance between herself and whatever appeared in front of her. She later stated that she doesn't believe the figure was human at all. The way it appeared, the expression on its face, and the complete lack of explanation left her convinced that what she encountered that night wasn't just a lost child or a coincidence. No further context was ever provided, no follow-up footage, no confirmation of what or who the girl was, which means, in the end, the interpretation is left entirely to the viewer. Was this an elaborate hoax, a trick of the camera, or something far more unsettling that briefly crossed her path in the dark? That decision is up to you. Now, this last clip was uploaded to TikTok by a young man in Salvador. According to him, the footage was recorded on a night when he and a group of friends were heading toward a large music festival. The atmosphere was busy and energetic. Crowds moving through the streets, vehicles lining the road, music playing in the background. At the time, nothing seemed unusual. It wasn't until later, after re-watching the video, that something strange came into focus. Something no one had noticed while filming. When the footage is slowed down, you can clearly see a figure that suddenly appears between the two trucks. Looking closer, the setting raises more questions. The gap between the two trucks is extremely narrow, far too tight for someone to be standing there comfortably, let alone without being noticed by the people nearby. There's no visible movement suggesting someone stepping in or out of frame. So what was captured here? Was it someone recklessly squeezing into a dangerous space, risking serious injury? Or could it have been something else entirely, an unexplained figure appearing only on camera? With no additional footage or follow-up, the clip leaves more questions than answers. Let me know what you think. Now that was all for today, folks. If you enjoyed these horrifying clips, click to see more on the video on screen.